Howdy, everybody. My name is Jeff Spiller, and today I'm going to talk to you about me. People often wonder who I am, not in the context of them not knowing me or not recognizing me, but in the context of essence. Who am I deep down inside? In order to fully answer that, I will be introducing you to people who were instrumental in making me who I am. The first person I would like to talk about is my dad. My dad is a great man. He grew up going to church and made sure that we got the same treatment. Whenever the doors were open at the church, we were there. The pastor could be cleaning the windows in the church, and we would be in our pew watching. Except for my dad. He would probably be at the piano playing something like Are You Washed in the Blood? All kidding aside, my dad was a great man. The greatest lesson I learned from him was diligence. I remember a time when we were cleaning up after a week of VBS at our church. We had a giant tent that we would set up outside for game time. At the end of the week, it would take a bunch of us to take it down. On this particular Friday afternoon, it was very hot. A bunch of us went out to lower the tent so that it could be taken apart. After we brought it down, we went back to cleaning up other things from the week. An hour or so later, I went back out to the yard and saw my dad still working on dismantling this tent. He was the only one out there in this blazing heat. It was on that day that I realized how diligent he was and decided to strive to be like him in that regard. The next person I would like to mention is my mother. Mama is the most caring and kind person on the planet. It wasn't until college that I really started to miss her tender voice and caring hands. The biggest thing I learned from her was perseverance, not in the context of the physical, but mental. My siblings and I were oftentimes back-talking her, but she never gave up. She kept on loving us and praying for us, and still does to this day. I'm blessed to be able to call this wonderful woman of God my mother. The next person who helped me become who I am was my youth pastor. I grew a lot as a teenager, with a lot of the credit for that growth going to Pastor Brandon. He was always willing to sit down and talk with me. If I was going through a tough time, I knew I could ask him to be praying for me, and then he would call me up and talk through things with me. The thing I learned the most from him was love for the unlovable. I wasn't the best teenager in the youth group growing up, but Pastor Brandon was always there for me. It wasn't just me either. He would take time to invest into all the students, even the really difficult ones. I strive to be like him with how I lead my youth group now. The last person I would like to mention that contributed to my growth is Dr. Blank. He was my advisor in college. I always had, interesting interactions with him in class. I didn't always agree with his teaching philosophy, and I still struggle with it sometimes, but he cared enough to put up with my foolishness and teach me what I needed to know. The thing I learned the most from him was how to reach my full potential. I was in a small class with him one semester, and one of the assignments was to research and write a paper about an unreached people group. I did it, but didn't really get a good grade. I then brought it up right before class one day, and this isn't one of my proudest moments, but we spent the next 10 to 15 minutes arguing about my grade and my paper. He was ripping through the paper, and I was getting quite flustered. Afterwards, I realized something. He was doing that because he cared about me. He knew I could do way better than I did, and he held me to that standard that he knew I was capable of. All of these people have played an important part into making me who I am today. Thanks for watching.